A child is born in North Korea, but from the moment of birth, that innocent baby is declared a traitor. This is the kind of shocking reality that defines life in one of the most secretive and harshly governed nations on earth. North Korea is infamous for its strict and often bizarre laws so extreme that they can be hard to believe. Imagine a country where elections are held, but you have no choice in who to vote for. Only one name appears on the ballot. If you fail to vote for that single candidate, you risk going straight to prison. There is only one television channel available, and you don't even have the option to tune to another. In North Korea, people aren't just punished for committing crimes. They can be imprisoned for simply thinking about committing one. The regime exercises total control, built on fear and surveillance. To understand how it all started, we need to go back to 1945. Japan had ruled the Korean peninsula for 35 years. But after World War II ended, Korea was divided into two, North and South. The North fell under the influence of the Soviet Union, while the South aligned with the United States. In 1948, Kim Il-sung, the founder of the Kim dynasty, was appointed leader of the North, which was now named the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Despite the name, democracy never existed there. In 1950, a war broke out between North and South Korea, which became known as the Korean War. Though active combat eventually stopped, no peace treaty was ever signed. Technically, both countries remain in a state of war to this day. Since its founding, only one family has ever ruled North Korea, beginning with Kim Il-sung, followed by his son Kim Jong-il, and now his grandson, Kim Jong. Each ruler has relied on increasingly strict laws to maintain their grip on power, to keep citizens from being influenced by South Korean or Western culture. The regime has implemented some of the most bizarre and repressive rules imaginable. For example, in 2024, North Korea banned the use of sunglasses and even placed restrictions on wedding dresses. Instead of music, public places like metro stations play speeches from the Kim family. No one is allowed to talk or make noise during these broadcasts. Watching South Korean dramas or Hollywood films is strictly forbidden. Those caught consuming foreign media can be sent to labor camps or face severe punishment. This is done to prevent what the regime calls ideological contamination, a way to keep foreign ideas and values from influencing the public. Internet access is not permitted for ordinary citizens. Instead, there's a closed intranet limited to state-approved content. Even this internal network is heavily monitored. Calling someone outside the country without government permission is a crime. All newspapers, radio stations, and TV channels are thrown. Private media doesn't exist. All content glorifies the regime and vilifies foreign enemies, particularly the United States. From childhood, North Koreans are taught to hate America and its allies. Even hairstyles are regulated. The government only allows a small list of approved styles. Anything that reflects foreign influence, like jeans, dyed hair, or flashy clothing is banned. Even food choices are restricted. American foods like hot dogs and South Korean dishes such as tteokbokki and budae are prohibited. Citizens can't travel from one city to another without a permit. Only elite individuals like government officials or those close to Kim Jong-un are issued passports. For the average North Korean, the idea of leaving the country is nothing more than a fantasy. All property, homes, businesses, land, belongs to the state. Citizens are allowed to use these resources, but they can never truly own them. Following or practicing any religion is illegal. Although churches do exist, they are staged to create a false image of religious freedom for outsiders. Anyone found genuinely practicing religion is often sent to labor camps. The regime also practices generational punishment. If someone is accused of betrayal or disloyalty, not only do they face punishment, but so does their entire family, children, grandchildren, even unborn descendants. This is done to prevent any future rebellion. In every apartment complex and neighborhood, government spies are planted to keep watch over residents. People live in fear, knowing that even thinking something critical of the government, if reported, could land them in prison. Every week, citizens are required to attend self-criticism sessions, where they confess their supposed faults in front of others. They might admit things like hiding someone's weakness from the authorities, failing to praise Kim Jong-un enough, or being impressed by a foreign object. Others then criticize them, reinforcing the culture of fear and conformity. Voting is mandatory in North Korea, but there's only one candidate, the one chosen by the government. Not voting is seen as treason. The election process isn't a democratic exercise, but a loyalty test. When 100% of voters support the same candidate, the regime interprets it as proof of unity and strength. North Korea has a legislative body called the Supreme People's Assembly, but its sole job is to approve decisions already made by the leadership. All North Korean citizens must memorize and recite the 10 ideological principles that glorify Kim Il-sung. Forgetting even one part during recitation can label you a traitor. Television sets are pre-tuned to government channels only. Foreign channels are completely blocked, and imported TVs are modified to prevent access to global networks. Even bicycles require registration and a license. Riders must pass a road safety test. Wearing clothing with foreign logos, flags, or slogans is prohibited, all to prevent the spread of outside cultural influence. Tourists visiting North Korea must be accompanied by government-approved guides and are restricted to designated locations. They are forbidden from interacting freely with locals or taking photographs without permission. Interviews with North Korean citizens are only allowed under strict supervision. Citizens are allowed to own mobile phones and computers, but these devices are regularly checked. USB drives and memory cards are inspected for foreign content. If any is found, the punishment can be severe. North Korea also operates a brutal class system called Songbun, which dictates a person's status based on their family background. At birth, a child's entire future, education, career, housing, is already determined. There are 3 main Songbun classes: core, wavering, and hostile. The core class includes families whose ancestors supported Kim Il-sung as revolution or fought in the Korean War. They are seen as the most loyal and are rewarded with government jobs, positions in the military, permission to live in Pyongyang, and even own cars. The wavering class includes average citizens with neutral family histories. They are granted limited privileges. The hostile class includes people whose ancestors practiced religion or had ties to South Korea. These individuals are considered traitors and are relegated to the lowest status in society, given only the worst jobs, such as mining, manual labor, or sanitation work. Electricity, water, and gas are rationed and strictly monitored. Military service is mandatory for all citizens, both men and women, beginning at age 17 and lasting for 10 years. Crying during the death anniversary of Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-il is compulsory. If someone fails to show emotion, their loyalty is questioned. Every household is required to display portraits of the Kim leaders and keep them clean at all times. School children are made to memorize and recite their speeches. North Korea is so isolated from the world that even its calendar is different. The country uses the Juki calendar, which begins in the year 1912, the birth year of Kim Il-sung. That year is considered Juki 1. So, while it's 2025 in the rest of the world, it's Juki 113 in North Korea. There are several reasons why North Korea has isolated itself. Primarily, the Kim regime fears that if citizens discover the realities of the outside world, they may rise against the government. That's why travel, media, and the internet are all restricted. Secondly, international sanctions over its nuclear program have pushed North Korea even further into isolation. It's worth noting that some of the laws mentioned here may have changed, either loosened or become even more severe. But getting verified updates from inside North Korea is almost impossible. Most of the information available today comes from defectors who managed to escape the country since 1953, as well as spy satellite data. Some brave North Koreans have even smuggled out footage using USB drives via China. One can only hope that awareness spreads, and that voices from the outside world can one day reach those trapped within.